From the heartland of America, focused on God, family, and country, the mouthpiece of the Midwest, this is Dale Carter's America. Welcome back to the podcast studio in Raytown, Missouri. I'm Dale Carter. He's Kurt Wheeler, and we're glad that you're back. We have a lot to talk about today because the news cycle, as you know, is moving really, really fast. But we have a lot of fun stories, a lot of fun videos. We'll comment on them as well. And Kurt is here to tell you how you can be part of Dale Carter's America and help us spread the word.
Yes, welcome, everybody. Welcome back. We are coming to you not live, but we're coming to you pre-recorded from Rumble and YouTube. If you are watching the video version, make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, send the link to your friends, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. You can check out the audio-only version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and then make sure to follow us on Facebook as well and join in the conversation. Drop your expert opinion in the comment section.
And we get a lot of that. There's no doubt. We'll get to some of that coming up here too. But we like to promote this as a safe space for rooting for the country. If you're rooting for America to win, you have found the right place. Regardless of any policy disagreement, and we have those, we want this country to do well. Somebody else who wants the country to do well is Bob Watson. He's been watching over families like mine for over 50 years in Blue Springs. He's been my insurance agent for nearly 31 years. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Bob Watson, the gold standard in State Farm. He's at 7th and Main in Blue Springs, 816-229-7878. Auto, home, life, commercial insurance, licensed in both Missouri and Kansas. If it's important enough for you to insure, you need State Farm, and you need Bob Watson and his team standing behind you. Bundle your home and car insurance, and you'll save even more with State Farm and my friend Bob Watson. Okay, so we've talked a lot lately about what's going on here in eastern Jackson County, where the podcast is recorded. And if Quentin Lucas ever stumbles on this, we do not do the podcast in Kansas City, Missouri. So don't send me a bill for 1% of whatever we generate from this podcast because I'm not going to pay it. All right. So Mike Steinmeier has filed a bill to separate eastern Jackson County from Kansas City. Can't be done, says the great John Bedoin of Lee's Summit. It's been talked about, but it's never been an organized effort. I wonder if they said that, you know, about the Frank White thing when that got started. You'll never be able to recall the county executive. And then that happened. You'll never be able to get Jackson County to have an elected assessor. And then that happened. You know, John Bedoin, like a lot of journalists, is like the chief engineer of a radio station. Can't be done. No matter what you ask them to do, it's like, can't be done. Well, maybe this will be done. And Steinmeier is making friends all around the area. I don't know if you knew this or not, Kurt, but Kansas City obviously is in Jackson County, but it is also in 3 other counties. Part of the city goes into Platte, Clay, and Cass counties. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
I never really thought about it, but it makes sense.
As a footprint, the city limits go pretty far, up into Platte, all the way up to KCI, Clay County, of course, into the Northland, and then Cass County. And Steinmeier is actually talking to leaders in all of those counties about divorcing Kansas City, Missouri.
Really? Interesting.
I talked to him this week, and he goes, you think Quentin Lucas will send me a Christmas card? And I'm like, probably not. Yeah. Because the city itself is $100 million in debt under Quentin Lucas's watch. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, this Mike Steinmeier from Sugar Creek, Missouri is down there in Jeff City trying to get a vote. And again, this is not him moving levers. This is him allowing you, the voters, to vote on this. Like you voted on Frank White, like you voted on the elected assessor. He's giving you a chance to vote on it. Quentin Lucas, you can just see his sphincter. It's probably going.
Yeah. Especially if it starts to get traction, you know, and if he's talking to the leaders from those other counties. So is that just for support, or like, are those other counties going to become part of the new county?
No, I guess the other counties, it would be, well, we'll just draw the line. We'll just take them out of our county.
Right. So all those counties would be cutting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he says there's support for it. And I don't know that there's not. I mean, we are seeing a changing climate in politics. Back before 2016, did anybody believe a guy like Donald Trump could be elected president?
Yeah, it's true.
And then when he was not elected or reelected, and Joe Biden somehow got a surprising 81 million votes when that had never happened before. There were a lot of people who were shocked that Donald Trump got elected again in non-consecutive terms.
Right.
So I just say never say never. This could really happen. And Steinmeier is going to be a guest on the podcast early next month. We'll get an update on what's going on with this. And with that said, yes, I am a candidate for the legislature, the Jackson County legislature. You may find that hard to believe, as much as I've pushed a separate county for Eastern Jackson County. But when I was given the opportunity to run for an at-large seat, where you're voted on throughout Jackson County, including Kansas City, I said no thanks. Because number one, a Republican's not going to win that because it's overloaded with Kansas City voters. And second, I want to represent my friends and neighbors. I've lived in Blue Springs for almost 31 years. Those are my friends and neighbors. Grain Valley, a neighbor to Blue Springs, then Oak Grove and Buckner, even the eastern slice of Independence, unincorporated areas of northeastern Jackson County. So here's my view on it. Stay or go, I want to be there for those people. Stay in Jackson County. You need somebody watching over what's going on down there and being a very vocal advocate for you in this process. Don't just be used as a cash register for Quentin Lucas. And if we go, and we finally establish Truman County, which we've talked about for a long time, I want to be part of that. So we'll see where it goes. Meanwhile, the election is coming up in 2026. Filing for me for this seat's going to be in late February, so we'll file on the first day. So far, no opponent has emerged. I'm okay with that. The current incumbent hasn't decided whether she's going to run or not. If she does, she does. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But you can help me get where we need to go together at dalecarter.us. That is the website. It's got some broad strokes. I'm happy to fill in the gaps. We'll be doing some speaking engagements coming up in the new year to do just that. And as always, fundraising is going to be a big part of this. I hate that part. I really do. I would fund it myself, but I'm not going to do that. I'm asking for folks who have a stake in this to make an investment in it, so that when we do our digital ads and our billboards and our direct mail pieces, if we go that route, that's what all that money goes to. It doesn't go to me. That is for sure. DaleCarter.us. That is the website. One of the tremendous businesses that is within that footprint is Christian Brothers Automotive. My good friend Tim Porter, taking care of my cars for a long time. In fact, he's taking care of my family because he's employed two of my kids. He still has one of them working for him who's learning more. Tim's a great mentor. He's learning more about different things on a car and advancing through fixing cars because it's more complicated than ever. And quite frankly, with the average price of a new car at $50,000, think about that. The average price for a new car is $50,000. Wouldn't you keep your existing car longer if it were well maintained? The first step toward well maintaining your vehicle is Christian Brothers Automotive. They're each independently owned and operated. Tim Porter, my friend, owns the one on 40 Highway in Independence, 19600 East 40 Highway. You can reach them and set up an appointment at 816-675-4587. Next time you need your oil change, just do me a favor and reach out to Christian Brothers in Independence and see if you agree with me that they treat you like a king. You know, everything that you need to know about the car is going to be texted to you. They're going to explain it to you, and you're going to get a great warranty if they've got to do extensive work. 3 years, 36,000 miles, whichever benefits you the best. 816-675-4587. Now, that thing on top of your house that's protecting the biggest investment that you probably have is the roof. Is your roof 15 years old or older? Insurance companies are charging higher premiums on older roofs. I know about this. We had a shake shingle roof before Austin Watterson and the folks at Royal Roofing and Solar got on my roof and said, hey, this thing's got to go. If your insurance company finds out you still have shake shingle, they will probably cancel you. I don't think Bob was going to do that, but we got that roof off there post haste, and Austin put a fantastic roof on there that will be there long after I'm gone. Homeowners are getting their insurance dropped because of the aging roofs. Then you're forced to pay really high premiums somewhere else, or you got to put a new roof on. Sometimes better to get the new roof. The monthly payment on that new roof could be offset by the discount you get from your insurance company for having a new impact-resistant roof. Roofbyroyal.com. That is the website for my friends at Royal Roofing and Solar. 816-540-7057. Get Austin Watterson up on that roof, and he'll shoot you straight. I promise you that.
Tremendous people.
The DC power struggle. I've separated today's podcast into several segments here. We're going to start with the DC power struggle. We'll get to the liberal Christmas list meme that I put up on Facebook, and then some tough days ahead in America's courtrooms. So that's kind of what the podcast is going to lay out today. We'll start with illegal immigration. And I thought this was a fantastic exchange between Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem against Trump protagonist, chair of the January 6th committee, and voter of multiple articles of impeachment, Benny Thompson. Listen carefully to how Benny frames this.
Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question? It was an unfortunate situation, but you blamed it solely on Joe Biden. I want you to know who approved the asylum application for this same person.
Mr. Thompson, this individual that came into the country.
No, I want to know who approved.
Congressman Thompson, I want you to understand. When this individual came into the country, he came under evacuation of Afghanistan under Operation Allies Welcome, was thoroughly vetted by the Biden administration at that point in time, allowed into our country, and then was never followed up. I want to remind everybody in Congress.
Reclaim my time.
We follow the law. And every asylum is supposed to have a check-in every single year, and the Biden administration failed to do that. They vetted this individual, allowed them into our country, and did not do due.
The witness will allow the gentleman to ask his question.
Yes or no? Who approved the asylum claim?
The application on the asylum was thoroughly filled out by information that was gathered by the Biden administration.
So the Biden administration approved the asylum.
The asylum application was put into place under the rules established by the Biden administration.
Reclaiming my time. I don't.
Jeez.
First of all, you could take this thing apart from about every angle. It was not a tragic accident that this guardsman was shot in the head. It was an act of terror.
Right.
Yes or no, who approved the asylum? Yes or no is a yes or no question.
Right.
Who approved requires you fill in a name. And of course, you threw in ax because when you say ask a question, the word is spelled A-S-K. Yeah. There is no X anywhere in it, but I guess we're racist for noticing that. Never mind that the bigger story here was an American hero deployed on orders of the president, gunned down in cold blood by someone who should not have been here. And again, Congressman Thompson refers to it as an unfortunate accident. Blue state governors and mayors continue to defy federal law with impunity. J.B. Pritzker, I call him the governor of Chicago. And the reason I call him the governor of Chicago is, I don't know if you followed this story or not, but there are several counties. You know, we talk about Jackson County and maybe getting rid of Kansas City and setting up our own entity. There are full-on counties in eastern Illinois that want to secede and join Indiana.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the map is going to look really weird when they get done with all this stuff. And why wouldn't they? Because J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, is just flaunting violations of federal law. Check this out.
Together, we're sending a message to Donald Trump, to Kristi Noem, to Gregory Bavino, and anyone else seeking to terrorize our people. Your divisiveness and your brutality are not welcome here. After what our communities have experienced, we understood that our response needed to be deep and comprehensive to counter the Trump administration's depravity. So today, I'm signing a slate of laws designed to protect our people, to recognize the dignity of our people, and to uphold the values of our Constitution. With my signature today, we are trying to protect people and institutions that belong here in Illinois. Dropping your kid off at daycare, going to the doctor, or attending classes should not be a life-altering risk. No one, and I mean no one, is above the law, especially those wearing a badge representing.
Yeah. Well, who's above the law are illegal immigrants, apparently. He's got so many other problems in Illinois. First of all, trying to keep those southern Illinois counties happy that want to secede and join Indiana. And then really he ought to go back, and I'm assuming he's a smart guy. I don't know if he's a lawyer or not, but I'm assuming he's a smart guy. Blue state governors and mayors, Quentin Lucas, if you're following along today, I doubt it. You might want to take a second read of Arizona v. United States. That's a Supreme Court decision that said federal government, we talk about the supremacy clause of the Constitution a lot on this podcast. That decision said that the federal government had supremacy in enforcing immigration law. You know who was president when that was decided? Barack Obama, who was deporting millions of illegals. I mean, on a scale that makes what Trump's doing looks like he's filling potholes out on the interstate. He's barely scratching the surface. Where was the hand-wringing back then? Where was J.B. Pritzker back then? Was he holding press conferences? Was he telling illegals, if you just, move in close to a courthouse, I can protect you. I'll protect all of these illegals. He's protecting illegals.
Yeah.
That's
sad.
Black and white, man. That's red letter law right there.
Sad.
And I just point this stuff out because, again, you're on a podcast where we want America to win. And to get America to win, first we had to close the border, which has been done. And second, we've got to get the illegals out of here. And if we need to have comprehensive immigration reform after that, well, let's do that after that. But let's close the door, which we've done, and get the people who shouldn't be here, who are here illegally, out. And again, if somebody is here legally and they went through all the proper steps to get here legally, they've got to be the most offended by what's going on here.
Yeah.
I asked last week where you were on Article 2 power exercise when Obama was president. You remember the good old days of Barack Obama out there sending the drones to take out alleged terrorists. He did it a lot. I don't know what the count is, but it's high. Trump and some people were not terrorists were killed, collateral damage there. He also killed U.S. citizens. Where were the Democrats wringing their hands then, right? Where was Senator Kelly out in Arizona saying, you troops, you guys who are in the comfy chairs and wherever you are that are driving these drones, you have the right to disobey an illegal order from the president. I don't think he said that. Well, Trump's using the same power to actually do something about Venezuela, right? The portal for fentanyl, the port for exporting sanctioned oil. And this is another thing that Barack Obama used. It was a law that goes all the way back to the Reagan administration, as a matter of fact. I want you to look up the 1986 Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act. By the way, current Senator Chuck Schumer was a House member at that point, and he voted for this law, authorizing the military to fire on drug smuggling boats. And the vote in the House was 392 to 16. The Senate vote was 97 to 2. It's still in force, and Donald Trump is using it. And for you idiots out there who say, well, these could be fishing boats, fishing trawlers. I don't fish much, but I have seen the comparisons. Have you seen those of what a fishing trawler looks like and what a speedboat with the big blue containers of fentanyl looks like headed toward our shores?
Yeah, there's like 3 massive engines on the back of it. You don't need to go that fast if you're fishing.
Scare the fish out of them, I would think, right?
Here's the, this is just a summary from a website called Factually, but of the Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act. The Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act is a U.S. federal statute enacted in 1986 as part of a broader anti-drug legislation that makes drug trafficking on the high seas a crime against the United States and gives U.S. authorities, primarily the Coast Guard, broad powers to board, search, seize, and prosecute vessels and persons beyond the nation's territorial waters. The statute's reach has granted routine interdictions credited with large drug seizures and persistent legal controversy over extraterritorial jurisdiction and how far Congress can extend criminal liability.
Yeah.
That's from this random website.
You know, that's back when Nancy Reagan was saying just say no to drugs, and Ronald Reagan was getting Congress to pass laws that put some teeth into the thing and let him take action.
And Joe Biden, too. Let's not forget.
What did Joe do?
The crime bill.
Oh, that's, and I didn't look to see for sure, but 86, Biden was in the Senate. I don't think he's in the 2 who voted against this thing, because Joey used to be really tough on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's in the 97 who voted for the 1986 Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act. So look it up. And none of this means anything. This is all theater, kabuki theater from the Democrats, and with only one purpose in mind. What's going to stick? How can we get Trump? That's what this is all about. I mean, anybody talking about the Epstein files anymore? I think that was like a fart in the wind, and it cleared. Every day they play, we gotcha, and he proves to be acting under his authority and under the Constitution. And again, I challenge people, and no one has taken me up on this. Show me anything that he has done that's unconstitutional. And if you can show me that, show me where the Supreme Court has come out and said, no, Mr. President, you can't do that. And he did it anyway. He's not doing that. But they're not going to give up, Kurt, especially if they win in the midterms. If they win in the midterms, the Trump presidency, as you know it, is over. It's all going to be about impeachment. And he already holds the record for the most times being impeached by a president.
Frankly, more impeachments than anyone else, right?
That record's gonna soar. I don't know anybody is gonna be able to even approach that. Then we get to Obamacare and the subsidies to make a bad government program less bad. And quite frankly, the more I think about this, I think the Republicans are screwed here. They are absolutely screwed. And maybe the Democrats were playing chess while the Republicans were playing checkers. I'm not sure. But the government shutdown has come and gone, and Republicans get credit for holding their ground. But here's what's going to happen now. We're going into a midterm election year, right? Mm-hmm. All of the House seats are up for grabs. And you can bet in every district in this country that if some sort of subsidy is not passed, they're going to run on that. And they're going to make Republicans look really, really bad.
They run on at every election. I mean, they're constantly, maybe not specifically extending Obamacare subsidies, but they're running on some sort of welfare every single time.
Well, they're running on affordability.
Yeah.
And affordability, in insurance. And because of Obamacare, I'm going to blame Obamacare. Okay. With the subsidies, if the Republicans cave and they give the subsidies, I want to make sure you understand this. With the subsidies, people on Obamacare will see an average 26% increase in their monthly premiums. Without the subsidies, Obamacare will go up 114%. So we need to dump, $1.5 trillion in your taxpayer money in just to make sure that these folks who are on Obamacare only get a 26% increase. Yeah. So affordability, that's what they're going to run on. And we're all screwed. I don't know how you're getting health care coverage right now. You don't have to tell me. I get mine through my job. And we've already been told through the job that in 2026, our premiums are going up at least 40%.
That was high enough to begin with. I remember from working there.
The inflation that's caused by the government sticking its big foot into something like healthcare has downriver implications. And even people on private healthcare insurance, your rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
And the root cause of all this has been Obamacare. We're all screwed because of it.
And on top of that, healthcare costs are still the number one reason for bankruptcy for adults and families.
That wasn't supposed to happen anymore. Obamacare was going to, you shouldn't have to go bankrupt.
That's with Obamacare. So the problem's getting worse, not better.
And if you got
by every measurable metric.
It is. And if you got a Democrat on this podcast and made them swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and they told you what they're trying to do here, they're trying to show you that they can't fix this. And the only way that they can fix it is for the federal government to take over healthcare 100%, to go to single payer. And before you jump on board with that, and I know I've got some liberal friends out there that say, we're the only advanced country in the world that doesn't have something like this. Well, go to some of those advanced countries then. Pull up Canada, Google Canada, and see what the average wait time is for procedures that you need. You will be stunned.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they have authorized euthanasia in Canada. And, if you've got to wait too long, you can actually file to go ahead and die.
Yep.
And just get off the rolls. That's what they're doing in places like Canada and England, too. I mean, all of these advanced countries where they've gone to single payer and the government has taken over. So, friends of mine on the left say, well, what's your solution? My solution was never get involved in it in the first place, right?
I mean, how about we treat it like we would treat anything else, any other service? You have to know what you're buying and what it costs. You have to be able to shop around and compare prices and compare services. I mean, that you just can't do that with healthcare because they all collaborate to raise the prices. And it's just like education. The more subsidy you get, the higher the cost is. So, what's something that hasn't gone up in price? I mean, everything that all these the federal programs are involved in, whether it's healthcare or education or even cars, I mean, we look at the price of cars. Well, it's because of all these emission standards and all these regulations that are coming in and increasing the cost of cars. So, what hasn't changed, gone up in price?
Well, classic inflation is what? It's too many dollars chasing too few goods. Okay. And so what have we done here as a federal government with Obamacare? We just dump trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars into it. Okay. The number of doctors is not increasing. The number of service availability is not increasing. So you've got too many dollars chasing too few goods, and that's where you get inflation. And that's exactly what this has accomplished. I mean, I was advocating back then for removing the restriction. You could not shop for health care across state lines. Antiquated law. I'm not sure why it was in there. Let the private sector compete because that's what the private sector does best. And when you basically tell the private sector, hey, you know what? We're going to take all these people and we're going to penalize them a tax if they don't go on our deal. And the federal government's going to give you all these subsidies. I'm sure they're for it. Insurance companies, the value of insurance companies has gone up exponentially.
Oh, yeah. They're all on board with this.
The stock price has gone up exponentially.
Well, that's the other ironic thing about it is, for the left, and it's painting with a broad brush, sure, but they talk about the rich and they talk about, capitalism and it's not that capitalism is a perfect system and that it's not true that the rich are, we have this oligarchy with rich people, controlling everything. I certainly believe that. But then on the other hand, they'll support Obamacare and they'll support federal takeover of healthcare or education or all these things. All it's doing is benefiting the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies.
It is.
These executives are making more money than they've ever made because of the COVID vaccine and Obamacare.
Yeah. And we do have an oligarchy in this country, but it's not what the Democrats want you to believe it is. It's people like Gavin Newsom and Bernie Sanders. It's people like that, Nancy Pelosi, who've made bank off of being in elected office. And, if Bernie Sanders needs a liver transplant, do you really think he's going to go to the end of the line? These people get excellent health care.
Yeah.
And during COVID, when they told you couldn't do anything, they were doing whatever the hell they wanted to do.
Right.
That is a classic oligarchy. And it just gets back to projection. When they accuse us of doing something, look very closely because they're probably doing it themselves and banging on the desk to get your attention and make us look bad. That's 100%. My opinion anyway. So we've talked about that. And by the way, Obamacare, and I love making this point. It was sold to Democrats, voted on by Democrats. We never bought into this. But now they've got us in this position where Republicans are going to have to compromise on something, or we're just going to be made to look like, the Grinch at Christmas time next year for the midterms. And the Democrats have sold this affordability thing. The interesting thing about that was Joe Biden took like a year and a half to crater this economy. right? It was June of 2022 when we hit record inflation of 9+%. And they wanted Trump to come in and fix it on day one, or he's not doing his job. It's affordability. What are you doing, Trump? And Trump bears some of that responsibility, because when he ran, he goes, I'll fix all this on day one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oops. Reality says that it might take a little bit of time. And we're seeing gas prices come down. Things are getting better. But it is going to take a little bit of time. Speaking of time to tell you about Clay Como shooters, and it hit really close to home for me this week. If you follow me on Facebook, you know that it looks like, and that's the only explanation I can find for it, that somebody tried to break into my house. There, on my garage door, there was a vertical cut, probably ran about a foot long, made by a Sawzall. What else could have made that mark? We can't figure out what else could have made that mark. And a builder friend told me that if they could get like a little box cut out of my garage door, Kurt, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a device that you can hold inside that door and trigger the garage door. So I don't know if any of that's true, but it's, the cat's out of the bag now. We're going to firm up. And we're getting enhanced security measures at our house that are long overdue. And I did call Shane at Clay Como Shooters, and I'm like, what do we need? How are we going to protect this house? So I'm doing exactly what I've told you to do. Because, when we called the police, first of all, I called the non-emergency line because it wasn't an emergency. It took a while. The officer came out and he goes, I don't know what happened here. I guess I'll file a report and we'll just move on.
Yeah.
That didn't seem like the kind of response that I was looking for.
Very helpful
when my home is nearly invaded. So,
Well, I mean, really what you're just looking for, though, is like more enthusiasm. Because, I mean, what is he going to do? He's not just going to like, all right, well, I guess I just live at your house now. I'm going to stay here forever until he comes back.
Well, and I said, anything going on? Is anything on the radar here from my neighborhood? He goes, no, not that I know of. And then one of my neighbors called me and said that during the week, another neighbor, somebody who, people would know in the Kansas City area because he owns a very large business, that his house was lit up like the 4th of July in the middle of the night. Every cop in town was there, and they were chasing a vehicle through my neighborhood. So
same thing, break-in?
We don't know, but there were still snow on the ground. They were chasing him through the snow. So the bottom line is protect yourself. Take my advice, do what I did, call Shane and his team at Clay Como Shooters. Herb's another great guy. We've had him on the podcast here before. Let them find for you the weapon that you're going to need to protect yourself while you're waiting for the cavalry to come. Okay, 816-452-4867. And not only find the weapon at Clay Como Shooters, 69 Highway in Clay Como, but get trained on it too, so that you know what to do in the event of an emergency. Clay Como Shooters is a full-service firearms dealer. They buy guns, experienced trainers with law enforcement background. They train law enforcement. They've got an indoor shooting range so you can figure out exactly what you need to do. Affordable pricing, too. They're a neighborhood business looking out for our community. Clay Como Shooters. Protect yourself and your family. Find that right firearm and get trained on it. Kirk Doris has had his hands full because the annual Medicare enrollment period, it just ended, so now he's going to take a deep breath. But I'll tell you that people are turning 65 every day. I think there's like 10,000 a day in this country who are turning 65. Is that the math that he gave us before? That sounds right.
I don't remember.
You were nodding your head, so I figured you knew. Maybe you were
it sounds right.
Fighting off a yawn or something. I don't know.
Yes, also that.
Yeah. So if you're approaching 65, maybe you're just turned 65, you got a family member who has, this is the guy that you need to run the traps on Medicare. It is a complicated program. Why is it complicated? Because it comes from the federal government. Which part, which plan, do you need an enhancement on it as well? He's going to find out what that is too. He's been helping folks for 30 years navigate the convoluted waters that make up Medicare. Call him today and get ahead of all of this. Doesn't cost you anything. He bills those companies that may well be working with you in the future. 816-701-6661. His office is at 3600 South Nolan Road in Independence. They serve the entire metro area. If you can't come to him, he'll come to you. The details available on the website, which is very simple, MedicareSimplifiedKC.com. See? Made it all nice and simple for you. Okay, so to the podcast page on Facebook, I put up a meme that I thought was really, really funny. And maybe you saw it. It's liberals, right? And if we could only, that's what the title. Liberals, if we could just. Yeah, I love that. And I said it was the left's Christmas list. Then my friend Les Pingle reached out and he says, oh, no, you can't call it Christmas. It's got to be the winter solstice list. So, with apologies,
the Kwanzaa list.
Yeah, exactly. We go with that. But it's the winter solstice list, and the list is very simply, this is what the left wants for Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry, winter solstice, Kwanzaa. Jail Trump, get rid of MAGA, end the Electoral College, stack the Supreme Court, ban voter ID, and censor free speech. If they could only have that, Kurt, they'd have a merry, merry Christmas, right? Seems so. So I got into a little exchange with our old buddy Glenn. Glenn, the keyboard warrior, right? Glenn won't come on the podcast. I mean, he makes some arguments on here. I'd love to have a conversation with him. He won't have that conversation. He just wants to get me to say something back on whatever he's replied, and then he comes back. And then I go back, and he goes back, and it's irritating as hell. I mean,
you guys are both just sitting on the toilet, typing at each other.
Well, I am. I don't know if he is or not. Come on the podcast, man. If you disagree with me, I want you on the podcast. We call it the Charlie Kirk seat, and that's exactly what Charlie did, right? He found people who disagreed with him in these big college rallies, and he said, if you disagree with me, don't sit in the back, sit in the front. Let's have a conversation. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to try and do that a little bit with what he said here. So he says, well, I mean, convicted felons should be in prison. Referring to all of the,
probably referring to Trump. That's
the
what they
weaponization of the judicial system that they did. He says, and the EC, Electoral College, outdated, serves no purpose. Discussion is welcome. Supreme Court should be nonpartisan. I don't care about voter ID. I think IDs shouldn't have a cost associated with them. What are you talking about there? Then you end the argument of folks that can't afford ID. And I don't think the left has ever tried to ban free speech. Can you name a few instances of this actually happening? Oh, that was like red meat for me. So here's my reply to old Glenn there. Actually, I can. Maybe you'll recall Biden's FBI taking down license plates outside a school board meeting when parents dared to complain that boys were allowed to into their daughter's dressing room. You remember that in the restrooms? Surely remember Biden's proposed disinformation board. We talked about that. We can't have people spreading disinformation. No chill on speech there. Remember Garland characterizing Catholics practicing the Latin Mass as domestic terrorists? I certainly do. You have a short memory, Glenn. Those are three that come to mind instantly. I'll dig for more for you. But as far as convicted felons, let me have a shot at Democrats in deep red jurisdictions. Those convictions were bullshit designed to keep Trump from winning a second term. And guess what happened? He won a second term, and nobody talks about those convictions anymore. They've moved on, right? Yeah. They've moved on to those poor Venezuelan fishermen. Did you complain, Glenn, when Obama was droning alleged terrorists? Seems like he took out a lot of civilians, handful of Americans too. Crickets from the left on that. You're just hoping something sticks. And the Electoral College, think about that. Part of the fine print that makes the United States of America the United States. I don't expect liberals to understand the Constitution. You guys spend too much time trying to gut it. And this is my favorite part of all. Accusing Trump of doing what you're actually doing, right? Plus, you get most of the media. They dutifully take down your press releases, and then they call it news. And, of course, he has to come back on me, and, he talks about how the Constitution, it can be amended. That's the beauty of it. It can be amended. Yeah, it could be, right? It's flexible that way. But if you think about it, the Electoral College, you have to get a supermajority of the states to go along with an amendment, right? Mm-hmm. So you tell me which small state is going to stand up and say, we think the election ought to come down to New York and Chicago and L.A., big cities.
Right.
We don't think we should have a seat at the table. The United States was a compact of individual states, as in countries, that came together to form the United States of America.
A federation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's like, and we've used this before, it's like the World Series. They don't go to the end of Game 7 of the World Series and say which team scored the most runs, you've won the World Series. It's which team won the most games. Mm-hmm. That's the way this thing is set up. And quite frankly, if you want to change the rules, but you've got to get it passed through a constitutional amendment, and I just don't see that ever happening. Do you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, as long as they follow the amendment process, I mean, that's the thing. Like, so much of what's happening has the power of constitutional amendments, and it's just ignored. You know, it's it's done through executive order, or it's done through Congress in some other way. But so as long as they follow the amendment process, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it will either. And we've made mistakes in the amendment process before. You know, there's the amendment that made alcohol illegal in this country. Mm-hmm. That thing got turned around pretty quick. Right. It's like, oh, all we're doing is creating a big black market for illegal liquor, and we're still making people rich with it. It's
the
like
19th Amendment too, man. That one really.
That's Kurt Wheeler, ladies, not Dale Carter. I love women, and I want to empower women wherever we can. Right. All right.
I couldn't help myself.
So what was on our Christmas list when Biden was president? Think about this. And we called it a Christmas list. We did several. I mean, you could pull them up from December of however many years when Biden was president. I mean, our Christmas list had nothing to do with putting Joe in jail. We wanted to put him out to pasture because, quite frankly, as we know now, he wasn't really running the country. We still don't know who was, but somebody had control of the auto pen, and they were using it left and right. And they're still holding hearings on that, and we still don't know who was controlling the auto pen. But our Christmas list was this. We wanted our borders secure, right? And we wanted illegals removed. That has nothing to do. That's not personal. That's just something where we wanted federal law to be executed. We wanted an end to the lunatic green energy policy that mandated what we would be able to drive, what we could cook on, how we could heat our homes and water, to name just a few. We wanted to stop the insane inflationary spending. And again, it's interesting that it took 18 months for the insane spending of the Biden administration to dig a hole and give us record inflation, but Democrats wanted Trump to fix it immediately. We do want voter ID. Think about all the places in your life where you have to show ID, right? I mean, in Tennessee...
And now you need to get like a separate, you need to get a better ID. The one you have isn't good enough. You need a real ID.
Yeah. And I got that because I was tired of getting groped every time I flew somewhere.
Yeah. I think we're doing that today, actually.
Yeah. So I paid the whatever it was to get it. And now they're saying if you don't get it, we're going to penalize you. Okay, fine, whatever. But you have to show your ID whenever you, in Tennessee, it's mandatory when you go in a bar. Even if you're an old guy like me, they have to card you. Well, that takes an ID. How about something important like voting? Mm-hmm. Why is that the sticking point for them all the time? I think I know, but that was our deal. We wanted you to show ID to vote. None of it was personal. It was all constitutional. The Constitution is something that we hold sacred. I know you don't. I mean, you don't like the way things are going on in the Supreme Court, so you think we need to all of a sudden appoint 6 liberal justices just to make it fair. Just to make it fair. The old participation trophy. Speaking of participation trophies, you know what happened this week in 2009? Barack Obama was given the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, when you dig a little deeper into that, talk about a participation trophy, the rules for the Nobel Peace Prize are what you did the year prior. So 2008, right? Barack Obama was not president in 2008. He won the presidency in 2008, but he wasn't inaugurated until January 21st. Yet in December of that year, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. Because, I mean, it's cool. We voted for a black guy for president. Why not give him the Nobel Peace Prize? Right?
Yep.
Participation trophy. So there you go. To be continued on that for sure. And then we can all celebrate and have a beer, even if we don't agree politically. We can have a nice big pizza at Fun House Pizza I was just messaging with Jim Dingman today, and he was calling me a very not nice word because I was at the Low Cash concert last night for St. Jude, and I was up very late for me, and I took a day off. I'm not really off 100% because I'm here recording the podcast with you.
Yes.
But I told Jim, it's like, man, my days of staying up late and getting up at 2 a.m, they're over. He goes, I do it every day. Fine. You're a Marine. I'm not. Plus, I had days I had to burn anyway. So, yeah.
Starting to catch up to me, too. You know, I used to be able to do that a lot more.
Just wait. Ugh. It won't get any better. I promise you that. But you'll have a smile on your face if you take the family to Fun House Pizza, 50 Highway in Lee Summit, 7 Highway in Blue Springs. Amazing pizza, topped high with toppings. If you like your pizza with a whole bunch of stuff on it, you're going to love Funhouse Pizza. Drinks are cold. They've got rides. It's a great place to have your team meeting, your birthday party, anniversary party, or just order a pizza online at funhousepizza.com. Pick it up, take it home. Funhouse Pizza. My friend Michael Schroer is a guy who will get you in the right size house, right? Get you from that apartment into your first home. He's done a lot of that in 2025. As you add children, you need to add bedrooms. Everybody needs their own space in a house, and he can find you your next house that'll be even bigger. And when your kids go off to college, need a downside. He's there for you as well. Maybe you found a piece of land that you just want to build on. Michael Schroer, Remax Elite in Lee Summit. He is the guy. He can get your home sold. He can get you into your next home. He's closing deals left and right. We put some of those up on the podcast page on Facebook. He wins awards. He's just out there working it every day. The office number is 816-373-8400. He's rarely there. I would catch him at his cell phone, which is 816-520-9342. MichaelSchroer.com, spelled SCHROER. MichaelSchroer.com. Get him on the case with your real estate needs, and maybe 2026 is the year you're going to do something about that. Tough days ahead in America's courtrooms. We'll start with the Charlie Kirk murder trial. Did you see that's going to be televised publicly?
Of course it is.
Yeah, OJ 2.0, right? And then Erika Kirk, the woman who cannot win. I mean, no matter what she does, people are going to criticize her. She finally had enough. I happened to see this live. This was on Fox News Channel. She just went off.
Come after me. Call me names. I don't care. Call me what you want. Go down that rabbit hole. Whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
You know, I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been creeping from?
I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful, and we are human. My team are not machines, and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. You name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed?
You know,
they sit in a corner.
Yeah. She's in a no-win situation. They were going to trash her no matter what she did.
I gotta say, man, I don't like it. She is so suspicious to me.
Do you think so?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, the whole thing is an act. You look at just reading her body language, the way that she talks, the way that she acts, the crocodile tears, if I'm being honest. There's videos, and this is like speculation, but there's videos where before she comes on stage, she's like dropping fake tears in her eyes. Very, very suspicious stuff. The fact that she jumped immediately into the spotlight after her husband was murdered, the televised funeral that they did, she comes out on stage with like fireworks and like, what are we doing here? It's just, the whole thing is super weird to me, man. Super weird.
So what should she have done? Should she have gone into hiding? Or
well, she should mourn her husband like a normal human being would.
Yeah. All right.
Which is not that, and even just like, I mean, I'm sorry, but just like, she's got like $100,000 of jewelry on her right now. I mean, it's like, the whole thing is just, it's just weird, man. She's vying for power and control of Turning Point USA. She's putting herself in the spotlight, and now she's going to be the next thing, because you can't criticize her because her husband died.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
See, we give you the grace to have your own take. What we're going to see, though, is this guy who allegedly shot him. I mean, his own family ratted him out. He's going to try and squirm out of this fate, just like O.J. Simpson did, live in front of our eyes, right? And O.J. won. Maybe this guy will find a dream team. Maybe Robert Kardashian.
Well, O.J. was like a famous black athlete, and this guy is a loser nobody. So
who took out the famous Charlie Kirk?
No, I'm saying the guy's not getting off. The guy who should, OJ got off because he's a famous black athlete. This guy is a loser who shot Charlie Kirk. He's not getting off.
All right. Well, to a New York courtroom, the rock star of the left, Luigi Mangione. I mean, they love this guy, right? Yeah. He gunned down an insurance company CEO in cold blood, allegedly. He's going to try to wiggle free on a technicality. Now, we do love our Constitution, and our Constitution has so many protections for those who are accused, unless you're Donald Trump, unless you're a MAGA person. But everybody else, especially you people on the left, those people who are shooting up the inner cities, they get all kinds of protections because of the Constitution. Everything to convict this guy was in his backpack. Mm-hmm. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And of course, his lawyers are arguing that he was illegally searched. So these days, not only do you have to be a cop, you got to be a lawyer too. These are all pictures of him in the courtroom in New York. He looks very comfortable, doesn't he? He's such a good-looking guy.
Oh, what a hunk! Oh man, we should let him off.
You've seen the video,
he's too
right?
good-looking to go to jail, Dale.
He walked up behind this guy and just blang, blang, blang.
Yeah.
Cold blood.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded killer. And the left is turning him into a rock star. So just remember, and this is advice coming from me, Kurt, you don't have to buy into this, but if you're going to kill somebody, make sure they're on the right, rich, or wearing a MAGA hat, okay? And a good lawyer will come along and get you off. Trump, by the way, 100% guilty all of the time. Mm-hmm. There you go. Bob Watson has been with us since the beginning almost of this podcast. We appreciate him being on board, and he's ready to help you. End of the year is a great time to take a look at your homeowner's insurance and see if you can't get a better deal. Bob does my homeowner's insurance. He does my cars. We bundle it all, and we save even more. And like a good neighbor, he's always there when I need him. When I've had a kid that's gotten too many speeding tickets or wrecked a car, God forbid something happens to the house. Bob Watson is the guy that I call. 816-229-7878. He'll do auto, home, life, commercial insurance. He's licensed in both Missouri and Kansas. Like I always say, if it's important enough for you to insure, you need the very best. And the very best brand is State Farm. I think most of us agree on that. And the best agent in the Kansas City area who's done it for more than 51 years and does not show any signs of slowing down. I don't know what it is in that generation, Kurt, but you look at Donald Trump, he's not slowing down. Mm-hmm. Bob Watson's not slowing down. Jim Dingman, gets on my case for taking a day off after being up till like 10 o'clock, not wanting to get up at 2.
Calls you mean words.
Yeah, they're a different generation. So when you need to save some money on insurance and get the best deal that you can, go with my buddy Bob Watson at State Farm Insurance. We leave you with this. The FIFA World Cup is coming to America in 2026. I am so excited. Hold my beer. I can't wait for soccer. Especially those great 0-0 matches, Kurt. Those are my favorite. When you've given up like 5 hours of your life and nobody has scored a goal. Right. That is just so exciting. Well, in an effort to show the world how to think, a June matchup in the FIFA World Cup will be in Seattle. It's scheduled to celebrate Pride and the LGBTQ+++ community. The problem? The match is between Iran and Egypt. I'm not, man, you think I'm making this up? I'm not.
I saw this story the other day. It was so funny.
These are two countries where being gay, just being gay, is a crime with harsh penalties. When you people on the left criticize and rag all over America, I always tell you, go to one of these countries and display your pride flag and see what happens to you over there. Okay? Well, they are demanding that the match be focused on the game and get rid of all this silliness over here.
They're like, we'll play the soccer game on Pride Day if instead of celebrating the gay people, we're throwing them off of the top of the stadium.
I think they'd go for that. I really do. But
it's ironic though, because this is such like a midwit observation, but it's just true that these are the people that they want to bring here. Like from this part of the world, right. Like they want to bring all these people to America. Mm-hmm. They're already going to England and like they're not friendly to these people. Like they're like stabbing them and,
exactly
mugging them. And that's who they want to bring here. So, I mean, you got to kind of pick one. You can have Middle Eastern immigration or you can have gay rights. You can't really have both.
Tough to have both.
Yeah.
Especially with those people. Can you imagine for a second that the FIFA World Cup was in Iran? Okay, maybe they're the host country for it, and we're going to have a couple of American teams playing, and we want to have a kegger.
Yeah,
or we want to have gay rights night.
Yeah, we want to have a big barbecue with pork ribs.
Yeah, we want to do that. We want to go to your country and show you how to live. No, we're going to invite you to our country, and we're going to show you how to live.
Yeah, we're going to invite you here, and we're going to show you how gay our country is when you come here.
Do you think
that's what we're all about?
Do you think this was planned? That, we got the match in Seattle in June between Iran and Egypt, two countries that make it a crime. So that's where we're going to do our Pride event.
If it was planned, it was very stupid because they had to know there was going to be pushback. But maybe that's the point. Maybe they wanted to plan it so that the pushback would happen so that they could point out the pushback and, call foul.
I just want to know where to get tickets for the FIFA World Cup matches at Arrowhead Stadium because I'm gonna not be there. But
I heard they're very expensive.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Good luck to anybody who wants to go. I'll find something else to do that will be a lot less expensive. And until next week, my friends, this is Dale Carter's America.
The views expressed on Dale Carter's America are Dale's and Kurt Wheeler's. They do not necessarily reflect the views of KFKF or Steel City Media. Comments can be sent to dalecartersamerica@gmail.com. Check back for weekly episodes. Subscribe, spread the word, and give us a 5-star review. Thanks for being a part of Dale Carter's America.